What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shavink here, and today we are diving into the film room to take a look at new Packers running back Josh Jacobs. Now, real quick on some of the numbers with Jacobs, 4.2 yards per carry for his career, was the leading rusher in 2022 with 1,653 yards and 12 touchdowns, has 3.01 yards after contact per attempt in his career. That's around the average, right? A little higher than guys like Barkley, a little lower than guys like Jones, Chubb, and Derrick Henry, right? Has 295 career missed tackles forced, is actually the league leader in missed tackles forced the last 3 seasons. And you see some run game versatility, at least in the deployment, 708 carries in zone and 525 in gap runs. Now, 2022 and 2023 for Jacobs were 2 very different seasons, right? 2022, his best season as the leading rusher. 2023 was very much a down year, probably his worst season as a running back in the NFL. Now, there were obviously plenty of factors that went into that, and we're going to take a look at the film room, right, and see why that was. Contract, all that stuff that probably played into it. But, you know, when you take a look back to 2022 and a little bit of a flash in 2023, I think you see where Brian Gutekunst was coming from on this signing. So let's dive in first and take a look at Jacobs from 2023. All right, guys, so we're going to the film room, taking a look at Josh Jacobs. So I want to start out with a few things of why it wasn't totally on Josh Jacobs in 2023 regarding his worst season as a pro. I think there were a lot of things blocking-wise that were kind of a mess with this offense. Now you see here a double team at the point of attack, and ideally this guy here is supposed to get up to the second level and take care of linebacker Singleton here, and then obviously you have your fullback taking care of the other linebacker, Josie Jewell. Well, traffic causes no dice here on getting the second level, and then we have a whiff by the fullback. So both linebackers there to make a play. Jacobs can't really do a whole lot there. Another one here, right, where it's you know, you're basically following your fullback, right, on this sort of counter lead a little bit. And again, disruption, edge defender pushes the linebacker, pushes the tight end back into the fullback, and now we've got a mess, right, where could Jacobs have potentially, you know, found this crease and worked to it? Sure, but usually you're trying to follow your lead blocker, the fullback, more often than not. So that's, again, another spot where it not totally on him. Here, I think a big part is the receiver not getting to the DB. That's part of his assignment for sure. Now you have a fullback who's hesitating because he knows, you know, we got to take care of this guy, right? We missed an assignment here. So then it creates, you know, some conflict with Jacobs on where do I take this thing, right? Do I try to force it outside? Do I try to bounce back inside? There's, you know, a lot that kind of goes wrong there. A similar thing here where, again, receiver misses the block on the DB. Got beat pretty bad here. And it's just kind of like, yeah, you could maybe try to press and then get into this gap, but there's still leverage on the left guard. So there's just not a whole lot of space to attack downhill as a runner. Similar thing here where it's, you know, linebackers coming downhill to make a play, right? And ideally we're trying to force our way, you know, through this crease. You kind of get a double team here. Fullback's trying to work his way around, and I think Jacobs did a nice job. This is really nice, right? Turning the shoulders, getting skinny in this gap to try to make something of that play. He just could not do it. Quick loss here by the left guard. That's not great. Another miss. We can go back a second here and right. So lose here immediately. Right, receiver needs to get to 31. Can't do it. Now we're in a bunch of scramble mode. You know, edge was set to the outside. It was kind of a mess, right? Once again, combo here. Got to get to the linebacker. Doesn't happen. Edge is set on the outside. There's just not a lot of places to go with that run. Quick loss here, right? That's not helpful. It gives kind of the linebacker the ability to take care of this gap. So Jacobs kind of out of luck, has to try and make a guy miss. He does, but by then you've got rallying tacklers, right? Another one here where, again, we're kind of late to the linebacker. Good leverage, you know, to this gap here by the defensive lineman, and there's just, with pursuit on the backside, there's just not a lot of places to go. You just kind of follow somebody who's kind of resetting the line of scrimmage and take what you can. This one I think is a little bit more on him, but, you know, I would stay the course on this gap, right? You have help, and he kind of cuts this back in right into the linebacker. So I think that's partially on both. I think there's some argument that you don't want to, that there was another defender in this area where it would have made it a little more difficult, right here. But ultimately, like, I do think that's one that's slightly a little more on Jacobs in terms of reading plays out. But it's tough to trust a lot when things are going wrong, right? We lose a rep right here, right? Everything else is developing nicely, but we lose the rep initially, has to try and make somebody miss, and then we're stuck in the backfield. It's kind of a similar situation where a lot of leverage lost, right? We have a defensive lineman resetting the line of scrimmage. Everybody else is working up top, and it's kind of a disruption to the run. We have to find a way to cut it back. Jacobs trying to do maybe a little bit too much there, right? That also causes a problem. Now, a lot going on here, but the linebacker kind of scrapes, makes a really nice play in the backfield. But again, when Jacobs is just getting the ball, it's tough. Here, I think this is a little bit on him, right? You have Mayer working through to get to this linebacker. I think you got to be more patient. I think this is blocked well enough where take advantage of this crease here rather than trying to bounce it out. But, you've seen the does he trust that everything's going to be set up well in front of him thing, and that kind of causes the problem. Once again, I think, I don't know if he had to be extra patient there to set things up and try to just kind of get to that crease that the fullback is leading you down. Not my favorite one from him either. Here, this is a tough call, right? Ideally, you want it'd be fine. Would think this is Mayer that's working across the formation. But is he going to get to the outside? Is Jacobs kind of cutting his losses a little bit there, getting upfield? Maybe. That's a tough one as well. This one's on him for sure. I think he's looking for this cutback option, right? You maybe think, okay, I'm reading this out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 on 4 here, and this should be done. But it's also possible that this crease is the one he should be taking, and he gets there a little late. So it's a bit of both, right? And I think that's what's very clear with 2023. It's partially on him, partially on the offensive line. Everything has to be a well-oiled machine for things to be cooking in the run game, and that just didn't quite happen. Now, Jacobs, I do think, has a good processing skill set. He's a good runner between the tackles. We know that has some contact balance. That's all seen here, right? This is a really good process by him, quickly seeing that he's got a lot of leverage to where he can cut this thing back, generate a big play, and then, drop the pads at contact and run over a defender. Right, the lateral toolbox is very much there to force missed tackles consistently, right? Good patient run. He finds a crease and takes what he can on that run. Here does a really nice job, right? Being patient, letting things develop, right? Sees a crease, but then snaps it back when leverage starts to change on the play. And, dragging defenders once contact has arrived. Once again, I think it's a really nice job. Patient run, right? Watch everything get set up initially, right? Maybe guide these guys to outside leverage because you're going to work back inside. Look at him make that nice adjustment. He's got a lot of leverage here. He sneaks underneath Jacoby Myers, and we pick up some nice yardage. Look at that lateral toolbox right there. Hello, Brian Branch. Welcome to the NFL, buddy. Whoops. And like that's the stuff you saw in 2022 a lot, right? The lateral toolbox. Like, look how quickly he can change direction, drop his weight, accelerate after decelerating in an instant, right? That's the kind of stuff we see with Jacobs a lot. Boom, once again, spin out of a missed tackle, right? Lose a shoe and take what you can get. Another really nice one, right? It's read out leverage, process, use that jump cut, the lateral tools that you have, that quickness, and the explosiveness out of your cut to make a defender miss. Then we're spinning off another. I will say ball security was a little bit of an issue, right? He did lose this one, so that's something to clean up in 2024. Again, a big run, right? Press to the line of scrimmage. Let this defender drop down and take care of a gap when one is wide open. Nice little hesitation move here to freeze this safety, right? Get off one tackle. Really nice, effective stiff arm to finish. But again, ball security, something we got to watch for. There's no doubt about it. Big play against the Chiefs. We've seen this one before, right? I think a lot of people pointed to this one immediately as, yeah, this is Jacobs at his best, right? Really nice job pressing inside there. I think could kind of see that. We're going to run it back just really quick where one man to beat, kind of frees him a little bit to open up a lot of space on the sideline, and then well-time a stiff arm to the point where he's not going to be able to make that tackle. So that's a really nice run by Jacobs there. I think he does some decent work in pass protection. I think there's work to be done where he's not keeping his head up and he's more throwing a shoulder into guys. That needs to get better, but I think he can do it. I think he's a physical player and he understands that he needs to be helpful in this area. So I think he can do it. This is really nice, right? Drive it away, knock two people down. Love that from him, for sure. I don't like throwing shoulders. I think it's better to square up, but he does a decent job there to take care of his assignment, right? Some receiving chops? Yes, sir. There are some. He does drop the ball on occasion. That's got to be cleaned up, but nice little look at the contact balance there from Jacobs to extend that play. Really nice here, right? Work the middle of the field, stem to the outside, make a cut. Whoops. Oh, left him in the dust. If there is an immediate pressure, that's a big play. Another one here, where again, it's just, settle down, catch the football, effective stiff arm, and we're picking up a first down with ease there. He's still got plenty of burst in the tank as well, and I think that's really exciting. Packer fans will like this one. How about a little route up the seam? Catching the football, make a little nice adjustment, catch away from your frame. But again, ball security, something to definitely work on with him. But there you go in 2023, and I think that's what you see. There's so much promise still there. I think, coming to a scheme where I think Green Bay is going to have things blocked up pretty well, even though they're not the best run blocking team. They've shown that they can make that work. And I think Jacobs is going to be able to trust that a little bit more and become very, very effective. Now, for fun, let's head to 2022 and see some big highlights from that season. All right, guys, how about 2022 for Josh Jacobs here? And I think there is something to, the holdout and the contract stuff in 23 where it looks like just Jacobs looks a lot springier with more burst in 2022, and I think that's certainly part of it, right? You just see so much burst, the hesitation, the ability to make people miss. It's very, very evident. Like, you just see how springy he looks, how just it looks different. And I'm wondering if this is the player that Goody's, kind of trying to build around in the run game, right? Really nice finish there with the contact balance, ability to drop the pads on that touchdown. Then this, right? Look at this is nonsensical stuff right here from Josh Jacobs. It doesn't even make any sense. We're going back. We have to, right? So the jump cut, wicked hesitation move, ludicrous spin. Like, I'll get off one tackle and then I'll show off some of the bursts that I got, right? Just an insane play. Just an insane play. How about the lateral toolbox? Whoops. Like, just him making defenders miss like that is something I'm really excited to see in 2024, right? Look at him lower the pads through those collisions, right? The ability to absorb those, right? Good balance at contact. That's a lot from what you see. How about the burst off that jump cut, though? Hello. And then look at him, look at a finish, right? Run over people in space. Once again, just a really nice job. Bounce off some contact, right, and generate a big play in the run game. And you could tell the Raiders were blocking well in a lot of these games for Jacobs in 2022, and he was taking advantage for sure. Really nice. Let that gap open up, right? Kick the feet out and really do a good job making sure he's going to be balanced after that potential shoestring tackle, and the ability to just kind of rip off 30, 40-yard runs with ease. How about catching the football? Like, it just insane lateral toolbox right there, like just making defenders look like they are in the wrong spot, which is just kind of insane, right? The burst, look at him shrug off a lot of arm tackles there. It's just so evident, like, if you're getting the 2022 version or I think anywhere close to it, like, it's going to be a problem for the rest of the league, because what do you defend? Really nice job with the vision, finding the cutback lane, breaking one tackle, dragging a couple others with you there. This might be my favorite run, right? Insane lateral move there. Stiff arm on the defensive lineman, almost uses the defensive lineman's momentum to get back up to speed, and then erase an angle for a touchdown. Really nice. Had to include this little one-handed catch. Boom. Really, really nice. It's a lot of fun, right? He looks for a cutback lane here, sees the closing defender. Really nice adjustment. You see the flexibility, right? And then finishing off that run. Then, of course, the game winner, right? Like once I get into space, good luck catching me. I'm going to take this. This is mine. I've got reservations for 6 for an overtime W. So as I mentioned, I mean, when you look at Josh Jacobs from 2022 through, a little bit of a rocky road in 2023, I think you still see a lot of what makes him great, right? The flashes as a receiver, he can do enough of the job as a pass protector, right? But just the vision and processing when everything is flowing in front of him and he's recognizing everything and doing a great job there too. The burst he has and acceleration off of those jump cuts, the flexibility, the ability to drop his hips and his weight a little bit when he changes direction, decelerating and accelerating on a dime, right? That lateral toolbox he has is absurd, and he does a great job with contact balance, finishing runs, dropping the pads through some collisions. It's all there. And that's what I was saying is if Jacobs can get anywhere close to the form he was in 22, the league's going to have a problem. How do you defend, an explosive passing offense with Love and everybody there, and also Jacobs as a runner? Could be real fireworks on offense in 2024. So I hope you guys enjoyed this a little more extended version of a film room on Josh Jacobs. If you did, throw a like down there. Subscribe if you're new. Plenty more content on the way very, very soon. I will catch you guys in the next video. Farewell.